Hi there, Russ Vaughan here for theforestblog.com. I'm standing next to a small deck of western larch logs that were thinned from this Forest Service thinning project in northeast Washington, and I just wanted to give you an idea of scale. So these are very usable logs. They will turn these into lumber. They can be turned into plywood. They can produce glulam beams and cross-laminated timber. Western larch is a very strong species of lumber and a very strong tree. And you can't see here, but the growth rings on western larch are typically very tight, very small. It grows very slowly. So when they're overstocked, they produce a very high quality product. But at the same time, we're taking trees that are too plentiful in the landscape and turning them into products. And these are small logs. On the other end, they're down to 4.5-inch diameter, so we'll make a 2x4 out of those, and then those products would go to frame a house, build trusses, do any number of engineered wood products. And I think it's just important to know what kind of products that we're producing here in the forest. This is quite possibly one of the more high quality logs out on the forest, but we also have Douglas fir to go along with western larch. Western red cedar is in very high demand and makes a lot of really high quality products, and we can get those from thinning efforts as well. There's grand fir and white fir, lodgepole pine and spruce, and then we have ponderosa pine as well. So all of these species in the Intermountain West, in our fire-prone forests, do have a use. The most important thing is to have an infrastructure, which would be a sawmill or plywood plant, biomass facility, a pulp mill that could take the chips. All of those contribute to the stability of the infrastructure to help pay for these efforts that we need to have in the forest. You could probably imagine that if we didn't have a sawmill nearby or any other infrastructure to take this, like so many states in the Intermountain West, like parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah that don't really have sawmills in their area anymore, this would cost a tremendous amount of money. But these efforts here, this thinning effort, is more than going to pay for itself and going to bring retained receipts back to the National Forest that we can use for other work out on the ground. It's also important to note that if we do this right, we can return money to the counties. A lot of people don't know this, but Forest Service land doesn't pay taxes to the counties, and that's what the counties need to survive. And in the West, it's a really big deal. They used to harvest timber. A percentage of those timber harvests went to fund roads and emergency and first responders and those kinds of things, schools, other things to help out the community. And when we stopped harvesting, not only did we create this massive forest health issue because we aren't stepping in and doing what the fires were doing the way Mother Nature intended, we've cut out a big financial opportunity for these communities. And now we have an opportunity to do it right, to right size the infrastructure. Some places still have it, like we have here in Colville, but we can do this in other parts of the country that will allow the autonomy for these communities to go on their own and produce financial returns on top of what are really important efforts out on the landscape. I think it's really something that people need to consider and need to understand that in many parts of the country where we don't have infrastructure, the Forest Service is paying millions of dollars to do work, to get results like we've got here on the landscape. And here, we're paying millions of dollars for it. Thank you. Again, this is Russ Vaughan for theforestblog.com. Thank you for watching.